Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for always coming back. Today we are going to have a very simple chin recipe, and for this particular recipe we are going to need the following ingredients. Okay, before we start the recipe, kindly subscribe to the channel and like the video. So you're going to measure out 3 cups of all-purpose flour. Ensure you sift it or you sieve it so that you have a fine flour. Okay, and then we are going to just ensure that you're mixing in a large bowl so that you are able to add all the ingredients. Then you're going to add half a cup of sugar, a teaspoon of baking powder, and also a teaspoon of mixed spices. You can use cinnamon or nutmeg, whichever you have at your disposal, but this is just optional. Then let's mix this together. Then we're going to add a 1/4 cup of butter or margarine. I used margarine for this particular recipe. And just add a 1/4 cup. I did my measurements in cups. You can convert it, and I'll put the measurements in the description box. Add 1 egg to this recipe and just mix everything together. And now we are going to add the milk. For this recipe I added like 1 cup of milk, but I added it gradually. At first I added the 1/2 cup of milk, and then the rest cup of milk I added gradually as I was just checking for the consistency of the dough. Remember, the consistency of the dough is what is very important in this recipe. It does not have to be very soft, neither too hard. Just follow the measurements and also listen or just feel the dough, that it should be as what is in the video. Okay, so I'm gonna try and now mix this with my hands, and then I'll transfer this to the surface later on, just to ensure I'm kneading the dough well. This you can always just try mixing mixing everything together first with the spatula, and then go in with your hands and then transfer to the work surface, just to ensure you are working on the dough well and ensuring the dough is mixed well. Okay, so now we've transferred to the work surface. Let's knead this dough for some minutes, and then we can set it aside to rest for like 20 minutes before we can start off cutting it into the small chin pieces. Just knead the dough, don't knead it too hard, too much, because it will become too hard. The chin will become too hard. So just knead it for a little bit, and then just do this to your dough. Ensure it's, once you point it like that, it bounces back. Then just apply some oil in your baking tin or in your glass bowl where you are storing the dough, and then just put the dough inside and cover with cling film. Allow the dough to rest for about 20 minutes before you start cutting it out and frying it out. Okay. So after about 20 to 30 minutes, the dough has rested well, and just don't let the dough to sit for long, because it's gonna rise, and this is gonna give you that the mandazi kind of taste, which you do not want. You want your chin to be a little bit crunchy, so don't let it to rest for a longer time. Just 20 minutes is okay. So I'm gonna transfer this to the work surface, and I'm gonna cut it into 2 pieces. Then we work on the first piece, and then we work on the next portion a bit later on. just ensure you put some little flour on the surface so that they do not stick. Remember, the dough is a little bit not too hard, not too sticky, but as you continue rolling it out into a thinner layer, it's gonna start sticking to your work surface if it's not floured well. So just apply some flour and just roll out to your desired size. If you want your chin chin to be soft, roll out to a thick one, but if you don't want it to be that soft, you want it crunchy, just do a thin layer like the one I've just done, because I want it to be crunchy. I do not want the soft type of chin chin, but if you want the soft one, just do a thicker don't roll it out a lot. But for my recipe, I always prefer the crunchy one, because this is just meant to be a snack, to be snacked on while alongside doing your own things, or while watching a movie, or while doing something like that. So I do not want it to be so soft. When it's too soft, you get to be filled so fast, but when it's crunchy, it's a little bit more enjoyable. So I just spread it out that way with a thin slice, and then now we are gonna cut this. If you have a pizza cutter, it's gonna be very easy for you, but now in this recipe I did not have that. I just had a knife, and it was really hard to cut, because if the knife is not that sharp, you're gonna have a little bit of challenge cutting the dough into thin slices. Okay, but it's not like something that you can't manage. This one you can really manage. Just do as you have seen I'm doing in the video, and you're gonna end up with the best kind of chin chin you will enjoy with your home, and you can even share with your friends. Let's remove this part, and then now we can start cutting the rest. Okay, then also remember, in this recipe we are aiming for very tiny mandazis or tiny chin chin, so just cut small slices the way I'm doing in this video. Then this is the best way I found to just cut this. You can use anything you have, as long as you achieve the end result of what I will show you in the video. So continue to do this for the rest of the dough until you have finally sliced out the entire dough into thin slices or thick slices, whatever you want, but they should be of a small shape. And you can also try to make it uniform. I really tried for this recipe, but definitely not all will be very uniform, as if you could have used a different, like a pizza cutter, which would have been more accurate. Okay, so this is how you're gonna cut your chin chin into thin slices. And now once all this is almost done, we are almost done. Let's just finish up. I'm gonna transfer this to this baking tray just for it to sit there, because I wanna continue doing the other half portion of the dough. I wanna transfer it here, then I start off the cooking and just leave it. Remember, these tiny pieces tend to stick together, so just apply some extra flour to ensure they do not stick together. Transfer all of them to this baking tray, whatever tray you have, and let them await cooking in the oil. So in a large pan or whatever pan you have, just add some cooking oil. I've just used my normal fresh fry cooking oil, and I've transferred it into the pan. Add almost to half so that you can have a lot of your chin chin going in. Allow it to heat until it's around medium heat. So as I wait for this to heat, I will also start working on the other portion of the dough. Then we can have this start cooking already. The first batch is cooking, and soon we are going to have our first set of chin chin coming out. Very nice, crusty, crunchy and golden brown. And you can actually fry it to your desired color. If you want it very deep brown or just slightly brownish, whatever you want, you can do that. So this is just the simple recipe. Enjoy the rest part of the video. Let me show you how you're gonna package it and store it. This chin chin, you can have it just as a normal snack, and if you prepare it, you can store it up to 3 months if you store in an airtight bags or containers. So when you prepare, ensure you prepare a lot so that you do not have to prepare as often as possible. Remember, this is not very easy work, especially because you have to cut very tiny slices. So it's good when you're doing this recipe to do a lot of dough and just keep it enough sufficient to last you for a long time. Look how this is cooking nicely. It's browning nicely. This is almost the second batch we've put in, and we are almost done with the entire recipe. Then we're gonna strain out the oil and let it cool before we can package it for storage. Let me know where you're watching us from, and also do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for always coming back and watching these videos. Check out the recipe on the description box and let me know once you try out this particular recipe. Okay, see you in my next video, and I hope you guys keep safe.